Hi everyone. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Ms.Robinette Michaels, and I'm here today to talk to you about how we as music educators can come up with alternative creative methods and solutions for teaching music education in our classroom or in our private studio. I had the wonderful opportunity to just experience an amazing class with some phenomenal colleagues at Boston University. It's a doctoral program, a course that was taught by Dr. Andre de Quadros and Emily Howe. And it was really life-changing because it reintroduced or introduced skills to me that made me realize so many things and so many levels with teaching children and adults music. So what I've come up with is 5 areas to talk about. I am a private voice teacher and coach. I have approximately 22 private students that come into my studio every week. So I'm able to have a plethora of levels and ages in vocal training. I'm also an acting coach, and I incorporate musical theater into those that want musical theater training. So this was a special treat for me. With my background, I knew the elements of theater and dance, of course, but they really expanded on so much. So I want to go over some ideas that I've come up with that maybe will help you, and also that you can recognize your student. I like to call them voices because as a voice student, I'm also a yoga teacher. I understand the essence of how important it is to breathe and the voice that we have as singers. They're called, my 5 are the passionate voice, the musical voice, the spoken voice, the moving voice, and the reflective voice. So let's start at the first one, which is the passionate voice. So what does passion have to do with music? Honestly, it has everything to do with it. Because if you don't have a passionate student coming through your door who wants to learn, they're not going to enjoy it, and they're not going to probably embrace all that music has to offer. And they may love music, but it's the way that we can present music to them to kind of instill and create and get that passion that they have going. They may not even know they have passion in music. But one of the things I might ask them, for every voice that we're going to talk about, I'm going to give you a few lessons or ideas to go with these. We're talking about who they are, what they like, what they think, how they feel. All these things are empowering to them as a human being, what they care about, what excites them. This is a passion. Why do they sing? Because they feel good? Is it something in their cultural background that brought them to music? Is it somebody, encouraging them to sing that they didn't want to do it, but maybe they're here and they're going to give it a try? All these things matter. So while we're tapping into the passionate part of the student, I might ask these questions. I might ask them to write a short story or a biography about themselves, about what music means to them. Just let them explore that. I also have created a questionnaire which asking about what music types they like and what stirs them and what makes them feel good about music. And then lastly, I might ask them to bring some creative elements in themselves. Do they play the guitar? Do they have a favorite play or musical? Do they dance? Any kind of element, what kind of childhood they had. Could they tell me a story about their childhood? All these things matter. The second area we talked about is the musical. This we already know. We're a music teacher. We went to college and got educated in pedagogy. And so this is something we already know. But we can't keep it, as Paulo Freire says, all about just empirical knowledge. We have to do an exchange. I'm a true believer in reciprocity, in teaching along with my student, letting them teach me, giving them the authority to contribute to their lesson. And some of the things that in this music lesson I might do is look for creative ways to teach them. So say I was teaching a voice song to one of them, and they were singing up in their upper voice. I might say, okay, I want you to sing this in your lower voice, but I want you to change the rhythm completely, and I want you to make up something to go along with it. So take them completely out of the context of what they've been doing. Other things I might do is have them go online. Technology is very important to my younger students. Go to noteflight.com. Look at that program. See if there's anything you can do to create some music on your own. Bring it back to me. Let me hear what you've done. And then lastly, I would do real music with them. I will sing with them. I will sing a duet with them. I just finished performing at a town event where my 19-year-old student and I did a duet from Rent. And I want them to know that I'm an active part of their learning and a participant in their learning. The third area we talked about was the spoken voice. I think this is a very important part. People think, when they think about singing as music and melody and not speaking like acting, but the spoken voice, the only thing that differentiates a singer is that they use words. So those texts, those interpretations, how we interpret the meaning of songs is ultra important. But from a student's point of view, I would like to think that this is a way of self-expression. So for that, I say, what is the message you're trying to give me? What story are you trying to tell? What are words that matter to you or don't matter to you for that matter? I want their input. I might ask a student to write a poem. That was a great exercise that we did in our class, and it was phenomenal. They took it one step. I mean, I've written poetry myself, but we take it one step further and incorporate it into music. Maybe take one line out of a song and come up with 5 words that are similar and create a new line and a new musical flow with those words. These are creative ways. I've already tried that with one of my students, Abby. It worked beautifully, and she loved her lesson that day. Another thing I might do is ask them to participate not as the student but as an observer. I might give them a videotape of a singer or even another student and ask them to take notes. And what did they notice? Was their diction good? Did they interpret the meaning of the song? How were their mannerisms, their physicality, which we're going to get to? All these things matter. But by embracing them and bringing them into the team of learning, I feel like that is how I'm going to keep them engaged. The fourth area is the moving voice. This means so many things, figuratively and literally. I'm an ex-dancer, so I certainly know the importance of dancing and the body and the physicality. And as a music teacher now, I know how important it is to stand up straight so that my lungs can have a full capacity to breathe, how to relax my jaw. So the physicality of teaching voice is very prominent. However, I think that expressing yourself through your body can be done in a lot of ways. Maybe you do karate, maybe Tai Chi. You can do something like that. I know with my little students, when they're starting to slip away or get unfocused, I say, okay, 10 jumping jacks. And they love that. They love that I'm playful and that I'm thinking of new things, not just saying, okay, stand right here and don't move. So I have to expect that my younger students are going to move. And they love dance. My older students love dance. Just recently with one student, I said, I want you to actually move this song and don't say the words and don't just listen to the music in your head. And I want you to try to move the words. And one interesting thing she found is one of her words was still. And when she sang the word still, she moved forward. And then she reflected, why did I do that? That's so weird. I said, that was the way you felt. So she's looking for ways to move in her body as she's standing still, saying. Also, it means how music affects you, what stirs you, what moves you. So there's a lot of meaning to the moving voice. And then finally, the reflective voice. Now, this is a voice I can't really contribute to because it needs the student to reflect on their own learning. And so this is the one voice that's the combination of all that's going to do the most value for them going forward in life. I will, though, take time to teach them life skills like self-efficacy, how to take control of their own learning and practice at home, or how to have the ability to speak up in confidence, how to be a leader among their peers. These are all important things that music, and in my case singing and acting and dance, can strengthen. I've had a lot of students that came to me who were shy, and they've been just breaking out of their shell because their confidence level was raised. One of the things that I might do also is I might ask one of my older students to mentor a younger student, to actually show their leadership skills by teaching them a lesson. They know what we do in our lessons, and they can mimic that, and it gives them that ability to also direct and lead. I also just had one of my voice students who was a dancer want a song to be in our recital, and I said, why don't you choreograph it? So she did, and then she taught the choreography to the others because she was a dancer. And lastly, I do an exercise called 5 years from now. And what I do is I ask the student to visualize or imagine themselves in 5 years. They always kind of roll their eyes, especially the young ones. But what I want them to do is think about what kind of musician or singer they would like to be and walk them through those possible steps. Take the time. This is how I can contribute to their reflective voice. I know I'm out of time. Those are my 5 voices. I hope you enjoyed listening to them, and I'm looking forward to feedback and comments and new ideas using art, theater, dance, poetry, the spoken word. I think that it's limitless. Visual arts, we can teach through so many mechanisms. Thanks for listening.